Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to chat about the things that I quit to simplify my life. I think that when I was younger, I used to feel like I could be everything to everyone and I could encompass it all. And while trying to hold the entire world on my shoulders, I failed at more of those things because I spread my energy so thin. So that was a huge turning point. That was a big learning experience for me. I think when you narrow down on what's important, you can become the things that are most important to you more effectively. This might look like being a good mom. That might be a value that's extremely important to you. So you can break down what that means to be a good mom and then how to focus your energy to help your children and to be a good parent. Your focus might be how to be a good athlete. So how do you stay in shape and what do you do on a continuous basis to continue to see yourself as an athlete? It's mostly just picking out what's important to you and then kind of cutting out the rest, the noise. So number one, I have gone through this in previous videos, but the first thing I did to simplify my life a heck of a lot more was to quit the people pleasing. So people pleasing eats up so much of your time and so much of your energy and so much of your focus, and sometimes if you're not asking yourself what you want to do with your time and where you want to go, you end up just kind of riding a wave of life. And that is a little bit counterproductive, and it's kind of hard to constantly be living for other people too. So it makes your life very chaotic and messy and busy. So to simplify, it's easier to start focusing your energy and attention back on your own life. So that has been the number one thing that I have done. Another way to simplify your life is to quit fast fashion. So fast fashion has been a big part of my life since as long as I can remember. When I was a teenager, I remember going into all of these small little boutiques that were cheaper. The clothing quality, however, was a heck of a lot worse. When you're paying a lot less for items, I find personally that the clothing breaks down a lot easier and a lot quicker. And I found personally that it's better to spend a little bit more on your clothes and then just wear them longer and to try to be a little more realistic. Another problem I have with fast fashion too is that sometimes I tend to, or I've noticed one of my patterns, I will go out and buy something that I kind of want to wear, like the ideal me would maybe feel comfortable enough wearing. But in saying that, it's not really realistic to me. It's not something I would actually wear, but I'm going out and buying it because I want to fit the trends. Another side effect of fast fashion is what it does to our planet. All of these clothes typically end up in the landfill, and there is quite a crisis going on because of the whole fast fashion industry. So because I do not want to participate in that, I'm trying to kind of cut back on my shopping or to spend more money on more quality products that last a lot longer and that I feel good in. Another issue with following fashion trends is that sometimes you will dispose of your clothes before they're actually worn, and that just goes along with the actual trend and how things are moving. And of course, people don't want to keep wearing something that's completely out of fashion. So I try to stick with more basic items as well, things that I can wear for a lot longer without worrying about the fashion trends or what's in, what's not. Things that are a little bit more of a staple item. We need to be aware of how our behavior impacts our planet. Sometimes consuming all the products and disposing of them just isn't the best outcome long term, not only for our planet, but also financially as well. You can waste a lot of money and you can waste a lot of product, and it all gets disposed of in our landfills. I will find myself purging through my clothes and getting rid of things and then noticing how much I actually get rid of that I kind of hoped that I would like or hoped that I would get comfortable wearing, and it was A, like uncomfortable, or B, it was just not my style. I guess what I'm saying is that I've kind of come to realize exactly what it is that I'm most comfortable in, what I feel the most confident in. And when it comes to clothing, it is important because the clothes that you wear help you feel confident and help you put your best self forward. There is a fine line between trying new things, but then there's also the idea of just being realistic. And are you going to feel confident in the clothing? Are you going to feel like you're tugging at it all day? Something that I remember from my teen years is that I would wear clothing that was super uncomfortable, but I just liked the idea of the clothes, or I liked certain aspects of it, and I would just be tugging at my clothes all day, and I felt so uncomfortable, constantly just tugging, trying to make it fit properly. So I think well-fitting clothes is also extremely important as well. It has to fit properly. You can get your clothes tailored if they aren't ideal to your exact body type, but that is something that helps quite a bit. And now the third thing that I have quit in my life in order to try to simplify is the idea of forcing things that just aren't working. So in the simplest example, I love plants. They're in a lot of my videos, so I'm sure that you guys have seen many of my different types of plants. There's been the odd time where I've bought a plant and it dies, and I've just kind of come to realize that there's certain plants that just aren't for me. And the prime example of this is succulents. So no matter how many times I have bought in succulents, they just don't work for me. I end up killing them. I don't know how I'm killing them. I know you're not supposed to water them that often. That just doesn't work for me. The only succulents that do work for me are aloe plants and snake plants. In general, succulents are kind of just out for me. So I feel like you can kind of apply this in many different areas in your life as well. Having to force anything is a little bit unpleasant. So there's a difference between working at trying to keep some things real in your life, and of course everything requires work. So I mean this in not in an aggressive sense, I guess. I guess it just means that I try to add a little bit more reflection and try to see if the things that I am doing in my life are actually working for me, if I'm working towards something, if things are kind of progressing. Just like if a plant was having a little bit of a hard time and I kind of mended it back to health, then that would be a different type of situation or scenario. As I'm getting older, I don't try to force relationships. I don't try to force anything that doesn't kind of seamlessly work with my life. That's not to say that you shouldn't reach out and try to expand and make new connections and whatnot, but there's something to be said about just kind of the effort that goes into trying to force things that aren't working. If you're trying so hard to be an accountant, but you're just not good with numbers and it's just not your thing, then you wouldn't put the energy and effort into becoming an accountant. While the years pass, some things that kind of were for me back in the day aren't so much anymore either. And I think that having a ability to reflect on these things and realize what was maybe something that was really good for me back in the past that maybe just isn't good for me anymore. And that's all right too. I think it's just a matter of growing and changing, which is inevitable. It's important to simplify our lives because we only have so much time in the day. We only have so many hours to allocate towards our own health and well-being, and towards our families and our loved ones, and towards our hobbies and our goals. To explain this a little more in depth, I quit trying to be everything to everyone. I am only one person. I can only do so much. So in order to quit trying to be everything, I needed to simplify as to what is the most important thing that I need to be. What do I aspire to be? There's certain values that I kind of needed to narrow down on, which values to focus on, where to cut out the things that are just big time wasters and aren't helping me achieve the things that are most important for me. So in order to simplify, it's important to narrow down the important things.